morning is a bit of a busy morning for me. I have a lot of items that I want to get checked off of my list this morning, and I also have a few things that I need to prepare for the week. So one of the items that I need to get prepared this morning is to be able to set up my dash for this morning. So the kids are going to be doing an activity for the first time this week. I made it relatively simple. I didn't put a lot of skills as far as what they're specifically working on. I kept it just as multiplication so that it was an easy way for me to be able to get the kids kind of used to it and understanding the routine and the procedures of using Dash in the classroom. And a great way for me to be able to accommodate for some of my students who are not on that multiplication is to simply have them do addition. So that is something that I'm going to be setting up this morning. I also have to make a few copies just for their learner targets. I have a mentor sentence test that my kids are going to be taking today, and then I have just a few odds and ends for groups that I need to get together. I also made some labels that I need to print out, laminate, and get those put onto my bins, and then also onto my little shelves that are back here. And then I also want to get some of my books that have not gotten put away. Those desperately need to get off of the shelf. So quite a lot to get done this morning, but I am confident that I'm able to get it done. It's going to be a very, very, very busy week for me, but that is okay because I always know that this happens in November, so I'm just going to take it with a grain of salt and I'm just going to enjoy it. So let's get going so that I can get this stuff done before that bell rings. My Dash station is ready to go. I just simply wrote numbers on cards, nothing fancy, and then I adhered them to the floor using just some packing tape, which was pretty easy. So that is what it's going to look like. One kingdom is on one side and the other kingdom is on the other side. So the objective is that the students are trying to get Dash to the other side, finding multiples, and then adding all of those together. So here's what the sheet looks like. So I give a basic dash and dot race to the kingdom directions, and then down here at the bottom is what they're using to be able to fill it in. So the first number they land on, the second, and what's the product, they're going to write that here. Again, the product, they'll write the product there. Again, the product, they'll write the product there. At the end, once they've gotten to the side, to the other kingdom side, they will then add up all of the products down here at the bottom to come up with a large sum. They have just one game, but if they end up having more time, they can play a second game as well. So each player is going to have one of these games, or one of these papers. I don't know how well this is going to end up staying up here, but all I did was I just stuck it to the door with some packing tape. We'll see, but it's just a little sleeve that the kids can just be able to pull out the papers that they need for this station. Very excited about it. I did decide to spruce up my little learning targets just a little bit. Some things that were just kind of bothering me personally. Let me turn my lamp on here. So one thing I did was I added the unit up here, put some lines in because the kids are not doing well with adding lines. And then for each of the days of the week, I went on ahead and I wrote down reflex, which everyone is doing reflex to get to green light. And then I also wrote goal work, and I gave them some lines to be able to write the goal work that they do. I also left some space for them to be able to write any additional activities that they need to complete on their independent time based upon like the skills that they're working on. So I did that. That's one side, and then this is the second side as well. So I thought it looked nice. I don't know. My bangs are just not cooperating today. I've also taken the opportunity to be able to regroup some of my math groups. So some of my kids are shifting and changing. I have kids now that are on the addition and subtraction unit, which I need to finish getting that goal work together. I have it laminated and I just need to put it inside of a file container and have it ready to go for math. So that I needed to switch around some of my math groups. So I did get that switched. Sorry. Like rapid head jerk to get my bangs to get out of my face. I need to trim them. So I did get that switched around, and then some of my kids are going to be going to a different group because another teacher is teaching that exact same thing. So it makes sense to just kind of mesh them all together. But yes, that's kind of what's happening this morning. I do have a meeting at 8 o'clock that I have to go to, which is in roughly about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna finish getting my stuff kind of cleared away and get ready for this morning. So I completely failed at doing any video footage for yesterday afternoon, and I am so sorry about that. But the day ended up getting kind of crazy. One of my partners ended up needing to leave in the middle of the day, and then it all just went downhill after that. It wasn't that bad. It was just crazy because the kids were very talkative yesterday. They were really restless yesterday, and I was kind of feeling restless. It just wasn't one of those days where you kind of had a really good vibe with it. And those days are going to happen, and it's going to be okay. It's just, you know, we take it and then we leave it, and then we start a new day the next day. So I am here to start a new day and to actually have a pretty good day. I am dressed in casual attire because today is swim day. So the kids are starting swimming today, which means that in the morning, instead of doing math, we are going directly to the high school to have our swimming lessons. Now, I'm dressed casual because I am going prepared to try to get into the pool in case my kids don't seem to do well when they're there. I know I had one of those questions in my vlog from last week, is whether or not I was gonna go swimming. It just depends. Like, I would prefer not to go swimming because I don't want to have the chlorine smell with me all day long. And then I also have conferences tomorrow and then Thursday night as well, and it's just, I don't know, like, I feel like swimming just makes you tired just being in the water. But in case that my kids just don't do well, and I have a very large 4th grade group, something that the swim coaches are not used to having such a big group, I felt like, you know what, it might be a good idea that I just take my stuff and just be prepared to get in today if something goes wrong. So I'm prepared for it today. We'll see how kind of today goes. And then there are other probably few days here and there where they may need some type of assistance just because of the nature of the lessons they're going to be doing. I know that there are some that are diving. There are some that are, they get on a canoe, I think, on one of them, if I'm remembering right. I don't know, I don't remember right. Anywho, I am going prepared for it today. So I brought all my stuff inside of my bag. I am not going to wear a bathing suit in front of my kids. It's just not gonna happen. So I did bring shorts and a t-shirt to put over my swimsuit so that they don't need to be seeing that. Like, that's not gonna happen. I have a few other things that I'm really excited about sharing with you guys. Katie and I started kind of talking yesterday afternoon. We came up with a really cool idea that I'm really excited to share with you, but I don't want to show it to you yet until I get it printed. So I need to get it printed, get it laminated, ready to go, and then post it up in my classroom. So a couple of things that I'm trying to get done. Luckily, I don't have a meeting this morning, and I know that's awful because it's like one of my other teachers who's like out for like a doctor. I'm really sorry. I hope she's okay. But I'm really happy because I don't end up having to have a meeting this morning, and I was about to have a meeting every single morning this week. It really just kind of drains you after a while. The first day of swimming actually turned out to be pretty good. We only had one kid lose his pants. Bless that little baby's heart. But I think everything ended up working out in the end. The kids really enjoyed it. We all came back like right before lunch. Everybody was outside in line in the hallway going to lunch, and we were walking in the door. So we got it right in time for lunch, which is what we were hoping was going to happen anyways. So it ended up working out perfectly for us. All we had for today was just math and reading. So that's all I'm going to be having inside of my class. My partners will be having writing, math, and reading because they still have kind of the majority of their kids, since I have a lot of the 4th graders in my class. So it all ended up working out in the very end of it. So I spent quite a bit of time this morning and this afternoon just kind of putting this area kind of neatly together. I finally have gotten it the way that I want it. I was not using any of the materials that were up here, so I just got rid of them. This little area that's down here is looking really nice. I have my laptop there. The read aloud book Dash is sitting there getting charged, and a few other items that I use throughout the day. So that's kind of in there. Everything else looks pretty good for the most part up here. I really like how it's starting to turn out. My little pages that I use for my groups to show the targets that we're working on are all housed right here, which again, I really like. So I really am liking the way this area looks. And then I also spent a little bit of time trying to get these together. I am almost done, except I forgot about these two right here, so I need to print those out. So we have independent reading resources, we have some practice games that are in here that the kids can be able to get to, but that's kind of what that little area is starting to look like, and it looks much better. The books I was getting a little cleaned up, and then I still have a couple of things here to get cleaned up, but this little area is starting to look much better. So it was a lot of going around and trying to pick up a few things and putting things neatly away and getting it looking nice again, because it just was starting to look like it was a little bit trashed. So I've had a lot of people on the vlog ask me, what is a Dash? I figured I'd give you guys a little tutorial on Dash, show you exactly how I'm using him in the classroom, and walk you through what the kids are doing. So this is Dash. We call him Albert. We named him Albert. This is where he is plugged in. On the little side over here, he has a little plug-in, so I just leave it here. The kids will come and gently unplug him. And then I have these binder clipped back here so that I don't lose them, they don't fall down. But I will tell my kids to hold them with 2 hands, but since I don't have 2 hands, one of them is holding a camera, I can't. And what they'll do is they will walk him with 2 hands all the way back to the Dash area. But once Dash is back here, Dash stays back here for the day. So the kids don't take them back and forth. Somebody will unplug him in the morning and somebody will plug him back in the afternoon. So Dash is a robot that allows kids to be able to start coding. It's a coding robot. And I really, really like some of the things that people are doing outside in the classroom using Dash. I highly recommend using Dash for STEM projects. I think those are like fantastic ways to incorporate Dash inside of the classroom. I'm trying to incorporate them into math, so at the same time we're doing some type of math trivia or something to that extent. I'm going to continue brainstorming ideas, but putting Dash inside of my math block time so that groups can start to use them in math. So this week what I have them doing is they're playing a Dash and Dot Race to the Kingdom, which is a strategy and a multiplication and addition game. Essentially what they're trying to do is they start on their side of the kingdom, so they're going to take turns with it, and one Dash is on one side, and what they'll do is they will code the robot to be able to land on certain numbers, and then they will put their numbers together so that they can multiply 2 numbers and then put the sum off to the side. So here's what the little page looks like. So let's say they land on a 3 first and then they land on a 4 next. They will multiply 3 times 4 equals 12, and then that 12 will go here. So all of the products that they have in the end will all go here. They need to have a total of 12 numbers that Dash lands on. That's all that they're expected to do. They're only allotted 20 codes, and they have to make sure that they land on 12 numbers within those 20 codes. And at the same time, get their Dash all the way to the very end of the kingdom. So let me show you how this little guy turns on. So on one side, you're going to see that there's a little button back here, and you push that button. It will light up. Dash will start to wake right on up. He's so cute.
Howdy do.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn him around so you can see him. He's super cute. Okay, and then using an app called Blockly, which is here, you can pull up Dash. So I'm going to hit play. And then right here, you're going to see that he's trying to connect. So it's searching for my robot. Once my Albert is connected, it'll give me a check. I'm going to exit out of it. And then this is what the board will actually look like. Let me get rid of these so I can show you guys what he does. Okay, so I have a fresh start right here. And there are different things that you can do with him. You can start him, you can drive him, he can go forward, backwards, turns, turn to a voice, stop wheels. So he will look, he can do lights, sounds, animations, and then I don't have my kids going into controls, variables, and accessories just yet. We're starting basic. So if I was to tell him to drive, well, right now he's, okay, so right now he is looking at me. So what I need him to do is I'm going to go to drive, and then I am going to tell him to turn left 90 degrees. Then I'm gonna have him drive forward. I'm gonna have him go 60 centimeters. And then let's see him go. There he goes, turns. And then he drives forward. So he landed on 3. At this point, my kids would write down the number 3 on their paper, and then they would go again. So now I think what I'm gonna have him do is I'm gonna have him try to get to a 7 that's right over here. So I'm gonna go to drive. I want him to turn left, and then I want him to drive forward. And it looks like 60 will move him 2 spaces. Let's see if this works. I'm gonna move all my things here, and here we go. Oh, I did get the majority on 7. So I tell my kids that if it's actually, nope, it's majority on 4, so I didn't get it. So I would write down 3 times 4, and that would give me 12. And now what I'm gonna have to do is try to get him onto a different number. So I'm going to have him move that off to the side so he doesn't do all of the things that I've already made him do. I'm gonna have him go right. Actually, no, I'm going to make him drive forward just a little bit. So I need to back him up. I think 10 might do it. And then I'm gonna have him turn right. And then I'm gonna have him go forward. And then move him forward by 30. Let's see what happens. So I'm gonna hit play. Oh, he did land a little bit. He did land a little bit on the 8. Well, actually the majority on the 8, so I will give myself an 8. So you can kind of see what he does, and you just continue going until you have your entire coding all set up and ready to go. But it's fun because the kids are having to use a strategy, and they're having to learn coding and figure out with length and how far they can go and how fast they need to go. It's just a really great way to be able to incorporate some type of a technology, incorporating coding, which is where our world is really going, and at the same time practice some math skills as well. He's an incredibly cute little robot. I absolutely enjoy having this inside of the classroom. Once you start, it's really difficult in the very beginning to kind of plan for him and introduce him and really make sure that the kids know how to do it. But because my district has these in every single school and they started it last year, a lot of the kids already kind of had experience with it. So that makes it a little bit easier. But at the same time, I'm also trying to make sure that I am challenging them, and I don't want to make it too easy. For this week, it was pretty easy. They're still trying to learn how long it takes to get to certain squares, which I think they're really enjoying, and some of them were getting really excited because they're like, I think it's about 60 or 30 centimeters to get in, you know, they're each 30 centimeters wide or something to that extent. It was really cute. So you can even, there are other apps out there that you can even, he disconnected. There are definitely some other apps out there that you can use with him. I know that my boys really liked using Go, and they liked using Path. I think Go is the one where they are able to just kind of maneuver him and like make him move around inside of the room. You can even push the 2 buttons and he will just kind of wander around the room, which is really fun, and he will know when something hits him. And they'll wander, and the kids think that's really fun and cute, and so they kind of build a little connection with them. They're all about it. So that's Dash. In case now you guys kind of know who he is, aka Albert. Bye, Albert. Okay, I'm gonna go home. I need to do a little bit of planning this evening. I was not as planned out for my math groups as I would have liked. So I need to make sure that I sit down tonight and spend some time trying to get those planned out. And then I have a couple of other things that I really would like to finish. So that is going to be my goal for this evening. Tomorrow's another day of swimming. So I think I'm going to still go with them in the pool. Okay. I am going to go ahead and let you guys go. I will catch up with you guys in the morning. Y'all, look at these bow making abilities. Like, I'm not trying to toot my own little horn here, but that is a cute looking bow. Today is going to be a pretty long day. I have conferences this evening, so I'll be staying after school until probably about 7:30. I think 7:30 is when our last conference should end, and I should be able to just kind of clean up and go. I also have to make sure that I get in my writing scores today, so that is something else that I'm trying to get done, all while trying to teach. Let's hope it goes well. So it's a bit of a busy day, and it'll be a long day for me. I'm not gonna lie, I woke up this morning thinking that it was the freaking weekend. It's not. This morning I am doing something very not productive for myself, and I am putting on my little labels for my bins because this just makes me happy. Just saying. Sometimes I gotta put a little bit of joy in my life, and this is what's making me happy right now. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I could be doing my writing scores, but I'm not. I will do my writing scores after this. I'll probably actually take them to the meeting. I have a meeting at 8 o'clock this morning to work on our PWAS, which is saying, you know, how many minutes or hours have you worked with this child? How many minutes have you worked with this child? So we're setting up our spreadsheet today in a meeting with the entire school. So we're all coming together to do that, which is kind of nice because then at the end of the year, you're not really stressing about it. But we also have a very different situation that we're gonna have to figure out, which is good. It'll be fine. We'll work it all out. So I'm gonna finish putting these nice little labels on. I still need to get myself to unpack, and then I will take out my writing and start looking at my writing samples and start getting those scored. And I also need to make sure that I'm looking at my my lesson plans for today and making sure that I have everything ready for my lesson plans. So my room is being used as the Max Got Talent rehearsals during my lunchtime, so I'm not able to be in my room during lunch, which is a little bit of a stinker, but I'm really excited that the kids are excited about I'm happy that the kids are excited about the Max Got Talent. That is going to be going on Tuesday next week, so that's the week before we get out for Thanksgiving. So on Tuesday, the kids are going to be doing their big show, and I'm excited. We need to get like some lights and some backdrops and some fun stuff, so I might start hitting up some of the like Party City places and things like that to see if I can start collecting some things that the kids can use, and I don't know, make it fun for them. I like it. They need to have some fun too, right? So I'm gonna do this, take out my writing, get myself unpacked, and then I'll catch up with you guys in a second. Arguments spinning in circles, we're fighting for days, stuck in a phase. I think we're losing the reason. One word is all it takes, babe, bursting out in cold flames, breathing, we are catching fire. So today was the day that I had to get into the pool. We just got back just a little bit ago. The kids did a really good job. It was a struggle. They had to do the backstroke, and they had to, it was a lot with them being on their backs this time. So it was a little bit of a struggle, but they did a really good job, and I decided to kind of jump in and help the other instructor that was inside of the pool today. So it worked out. I blow dried my hair. It doesn't look too bad because I do have conferences this afternoon. I don't want to look a hot mess, but it is what it is at this point. At least I get to be cozy. Like, they let us wear cozy material, especially if we get into like cozy clothes whenever we get into the pool. So it's like a win-win situation here. So I just got back. I did have a little bit for lunch already. I need to get some materials together because I have math and then I have reading after this. So I need to set up my boards for math so that the kids can write down their targets for when they come in, and then also do the same thing for reading so that those are prepared. Math is pretty laid back today. I don't have much because the kids were doing discovery lessons, so it's going to be us kind of discussing some of those discovery lessons and then doing some basic practice that some of them have to do. So nothing too like crazy and adventurous. It's just basic practice today to make sure that everybody's kind of progressing the way that we want them to progress. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my boards together, and I am probably gonna have something sweet because I want one. I want something sweet. So that's about it. That's all I got for you guys. I'm a little bit disappointed today because my kids left my room an absolute mess. I don't understand why we chose, like they were hiding things. Like they hid this stuff over here. So if you're just kind of like looking around and you don't come back here, you're not gonna see it. Like, they just left it a mess. So I have a question for you. Are you that teacher that would, one, clean it up and talk to them about it tomorrow? Or two, are you the teacher that would leave it and make them clean it up in the morning? Just curious, leave it down below if you're, because I'm wondering which one you are. I'm gonna let you guess as to which one you think I am. So we have about 8 minutes before conferences are gonna start. We already set up our table. We have our coffee, hot chocolate, the cookies are out, the board is out, check, like our sign-in sheet is out, ready to go. So I'm just gonna gather a couple of things, go sit down with my partners to get started on that. We should be done around about 7:15ish or so. So I guess I'm gonna end up just talking to you guys a little bit later on this evening. I'm sorry that this seems like such a pit of a blog or vlog. I can't talk. I'm sorry if this seems like such a terrible vlog, but this is just kind of how my week is going, especially with so many conferences. So, all right, I'll catch up with you guys later on. I'm gonna get my stuff, call my husband really quick, say hi to my boys, and yeah, that's it. Let's do this. Going into this program, we always knew that we were going to have a lot of conferences that we were going to be holding. So we knew that we were going to end up putting in more days to be able to meet with all of our families, because it was important for us that when we sat down and we did our conferences, it wasn't just that one of us was going to be reading off a report that the other teachers had written. They were just going to go through the report card. We wanted to make those connections with families. We felt like that was really important, to be able to have a conversation with families, let them voice their concerns, give explanations, be able to offer some advice. Everything that we as parents, and I know that as like myself as a parent, I would want whenever I went to my son's conference, because they're my babies. I really want them, you know, I want to know what's going on with them in school, and it's important to me. So we wanted to be able to, we wanted to make sure that we offered that exact same experience to all of our families. And yes, we have 72 families, so we knew that we're gonna have a lot of conferences come conference time. It's just what it is. So we ended up adding on 2 more days, 3 more days, 3 more nights. Normally we would have 2 days of it. We have 3 extra nights of it, so we gave a total of 5 to be able to meet with all of our families. So we have 2 nights already done this week. We also had one that was done last week that was during the day, like it was from 12 to 4 o'clock. Our 2 nights are officially done. I had conferences all night last night, didn't get home until probably about 8:15 or so, just in time to get the boys ready for bed and put them down to bed and spend a little bit of time with them. I will say that I am absolutely exhausted today. It was a struggle getting myself out of the bed. Next week, students will have school Monday and Tuesday. Conferences will be held Tuesday night, and then we will have some Wednesday morning, because we do have a half day that we have to come to school. So lots more conferences to get done, but the conversations are going really well. We're getting to know some of our families, which I think is important, especially since we're spending so much time with them. We get them for 3 years, which is really exciting. So we want to make sure that we're making those connections with our families. It's really important to us. So leading into that, I just wanted to give a little bit of apology, because I know that this vlog is not the juiciest of vlogs. It doesn't have as much content as I normally would like to have in this vlog, and it's probably going to end up being a little bit shorter than normal. But you know, it is what it is. This is a teacher's life. I wanted to show you guys what it's like to have a teacher's life, and there are just some of those days where you are going, and you don't stop until you hit that bed, and there is no time to pick up a camera and talk to somebody. You barely have enough time to go to the bathroom, let alone like eat. I didn't get to eat until like the very end of the day. So it is what it is. You take it. There are some days that are going to be busier than others. There are some days that are so much more low-key than others, and you just get to like relax and enjoy your kids. And I try to enjoy every single one of those days, because you never, I don't know, I never want to take a day for granted. I always want to be thankful for that day, and I always want to even though it may be hectic and busy, and you know, no, I may not want to be here that night and I want to be with my family, I want to make sure that I'm enjoying those days to the fullest, because it's a part of my life and I want to enjoy my life for what it is. I saw a movie I can't remember, like a few weeks ago or something to that extent. Y'all, I'm awful with movie names. If you know the movie that I'm talking about, leave it down below, because I cannot remember names for the love of me. I can explain it all out of the wazoo, but cannot remember the name. So it is this family who, all of the men in this family have the ability to time travel. So this young man like learns that he can go back in time and that he can like time travel. So in the end of it, like he has, you know, he ends up getting married, and you know, he has kids, and there was issues with his sister, like she was being abused by her boyfriend, so like they were going back in time and things like that. And in the end of it, his dad said, I want you to go back and relive every single day. So he made him, and he said, the first time that you go back and relive that day, I want you to live it just as the way that you would live it. And then he goes, and the second time that you go back, so the first day, like he would normally live it like you would normally live it. And he was very like disconnected, and just like he looked down, like he just hated his life, like he just was miserable. That's kind of the facial expressions that you got from him. And then the second time, like when he went back in time to be able to relive that day, he enjoyed every single moment to its fullest. And so he was goofy and he was fun and he enjoyed it, and yes, it was hectic, and yes, it was crazy, but he tried to live every moment to its fullest. And I just loved that, because I was like, that is so true. Like you have to take the good with the bad, and you have to take the busy with the quiet. And so I don't know, this is a message to all of you. Enjoy every single day to its fullest. I know there are days you're gonna be crazy, you're gonna be frustrated, you're gonna be cranky. I definitely have those days. I'm not gonna say I never do. I'm never gonna say that I'm just like frustrated at the end of the day, but by golly George, I'm gonna try to enjoy it to its fullest. And I'm going to enjoy being with my kids to its fullest, because this is what I do. This is what I was meant to do. So it is what it is. All right, I'm gonna stop rambling, because I'm rambling. I am going to get my items ready for this morning. I do have swimming again this morning, so I'm taking the kids out to the pool. We get back and we have lunch directly after. Like as soon as we get back in, it's time for their first recess. And then the kids are using my room for Max Got Talent that we are hosting on Tuesday next week. So the kids have been kind of rehearsing and practicing their part in the Max Got Talent show. I'm really excited about it. I think the kids are really gonna enjoy it. So that's something that we're gonna do on Tuesday for them when we get back from swimming. So during that really big chunk of time, which will be exciting. So I'm gonna get a couple of papers cleaned up, because I have a few things that I just was not able to put away, and I wanted to do some planning for Monday, because I realized, I'm like, wait a second, I was like sitting in my meeting last night for one of the ones that I just didn't really have anything to say, because I don't have that child in any of my classes. So I'm sitting there, and like as I'm like listening, things would pop in my head, and I have a tendency to just write those things down, because if not, I forget. I'm old, I just forget. So one of the things that I really wanted to do was on Monday, I wanted to do some like fun like rotations for kids in math, something that incorporated a little bit more of like time, not like multiplication, but time, like telling time, something with money, things that they just need to practice, like skills that they have to practice because they're not getting enough of it. And I don't want to, so I feel like during these times when we have these like holidays and these festivities, I feel like I can incorporate some of those. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing, so that I can get the kids a little bit more with that practice. I think that'll be beneficial for them. So I am going to stop talking. I already said that I was going to stop talking, and I haven't. I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to go get some work done.